quite a bit packed in today's session, so we'll jump in. Feel free to come off, show your face. We're going to jump into a breakout room in a little bit, just so people can kind of see each other and talk to each other in a little more intimate environment. Right now, I'm expecting about 25 people into the call, and it looks like right now we have about 12. So we have about half of the people here, but we'll jump right in. My name is Jim Monty. I recently retired from the West Warwick Public Schools last September, and I've started a consulting gig and really wanted to also provide opportunities for people to meet and develop their skill sets together. I am by no means an expert in anything. I have a lot of experience in things, and I'm really willing to muddle through anything and everything with folks that I'm collaborating with. So we'll jump into today's session and kind of get things going. So let me share my screen again. So there is a kind of a little comfort level poll. You can use the QR code here. You can click on it. The slide deck is available to everyone to actually follow along with as we go. Feel free to use the chat if you have any questions. I have it open, and hopefully I'll be able to see your questions if you have them. Feel free to unmute and jump right in at any point. I'd rather this be an opportunity for us to really have a conversation than me just droning on for a long time. I also have a very thick skin, so if you think I'm stuck on a topic for too long, just feel free to, put in the chat, "Hey Jim, let's get it moving." No worries. So the presentation is in the chat, and I pinned it to the chat, so you can actually just go up to the link and click on the link and it'll open up. It's also available right off of the website, and I'll show you how to get to it in 1 minute. So let's kind of jump right into what we'll be doing today. So this is the agenda for today. We're going to jump into some breakout rooms in a minute and see who's in the room and let people talk to each other. I've already set them up. I might have to reshuffle them depending on who's here. We'll take a few minutes to talk about the big picture, so to give everyone an idea of how all the pieces fit together, and how each session will blend into the next session so that we can see a progression and growth. We're going to review all of the resources that we have that are available to everyone during the sessions, and how to get to those. We'll also take a deeper look at the 3 main documents that we're using to kind of link everything together using Google Apps Script. So we're going to look at the Google form, the spreadsheet, and the document template and how those pieces fit together. And then we're going to give you some time to configure Google Drive, whether you're using a shared drive or my drive, to configure your drive and then make copies of all of the documents that we have so that you can start working with them and manipulating them. And then I'm going to give you 25 minutes in some breakout rooms to actually edit each of the documents. So I don't want this just to be me showing you how to do something. I really want you to be able to really dig in and try things and see where things are breaking down, and come back and work with your peers to kind of create solutions for yourselves. And then we'll wrap up and review. And I have a session feedback survey that I'd love people to take at the end of this so that we can, talk about the glows that we have. So things that went well and areas where we might need to grow some more. So that is the session agenda. Does anyone have any questions about the agenda at all? Thanks, Natalie. Perfect. So we're going to jump into some breakout rooms in a second. So we want to see who's in the room. And basically, I'm going to push you into a breakout room with a couple of other people. I'll push you into a breakout room, take a couple of minutes for each person to talk about your role in your district or organization, how long you've been in your present role or in the district and or organization, what you hope to get out of the PD series, what's your comfort level with Google Apps Script. I know folks have kind of filled out some of that information already. We'll share some of that. And then pick one person from the group to share out during the whole group whip around, where they just take a minute to say, here are the districts that are in the room and some of the ideas around comfort level or hopes of what they want to get out of this. So with that being said, let me open up the breakout rooms. All right, so let's try this. So we're going to take about 8 to 10 minutes to jump in the rooms. I'm going to open up the rooms to you now, and you're just going to click on join the room, and you should be dumped into your room, and then I'll kind of visit each room as well. All right, it looks like everyone's back in the group. So hopefully folks picked one person to kind of share out for their group. So feel free to either jump in the chat or just unmute yourself and jump in as the spokesperson. And if 2 people collide, I'll just pick someone. So go ahead and jump in.
We didn't pick a spokesperson in my group.
All right, Jim, you're the spokesperson. Go ahead.
It's Chaz and Diane LeBrun. I think I've got the names right. Diane has seen your presentation, or worked with you on this with Rynet. So she's got a little bit more knowledge and experience than I certainly do. And Chaz is in North Kingston, and he wants to learn more about it too. And we both all agreed that you were worth listening to. So we're going to keep doing that.
Stop it. I have to tell you, Jim Dillon is just a huge liar, and you all need to know that.
Well, that is true, but I wasn't lying about Jim.
Stop it. All right. Thanks, Jim. Who else would like to jump in? Go ahead, Natalie.
I'll do it. I'm the shy one. Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm from Littleton, and my happy team, Holly, who is from Monomoy, and Justin, who is from Burville, Rhode Island. So we had a nice little chat all about, we know that there's a lot of things that we could apply this to. It's just honing in on what's the most important. I think we all agree that onboarding and offboarding is a nightmare come August, because everyone's coming at you with a mess of stuff. So is there a more effective way to do it that would make more sense for everybody, being able to download a CSV and have the data go to the appropriate locations? I think that's really important. Holly and Justin both had more experience in this scripting than I did. So I'm the newbie saying, if I have time, this is definitely what I want to do. but I don't know what I don't know. And it's going to be like drinking through a fire hose, but I am prepared to learn all the things with my team members.
Perfect. Who else wants to share out? Thank you. Is that, I think we had 4 rooms.
I'll do it from our group 3.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Callie Clyde, and I'm with a colleague of mine, Kyle Kirschenbaum. We're from North Attleboro. And we met with Ronnie Destin from Boston. So those are the 2 districts. There he is. Hi, Ronnie. So really, I think we would just reflect off what Natalie said. It's really about learning and growing, and just kind of excited to try new things. And we all happen to have the capacity right now at this point in the summer to hopefully take in some efficiency systems. And that's about it. I think we're all, Ronnie, I don't want to, but we're all newbies and figuring it out, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's sorry if you guys see me drop and I'll come off. That's because I might have a call and I might have to take it. So that's
Yeah, no worries regarding all, like I realize that everyone's super busy and I try to structure this in a way that you would still have access to all of the learning, even if you had to do it independently on your own. So hopefully you'll be able to pick up where, you know, we might have been and then jump into it yourself at some point. So my goal really is to get, you know, I really love it when we get an opportunity to collaborate with each other and kind of grow together and take advantage of all of the smart people in the room. So that's really kind of what I really envision for, like, even just moving forward in terms of extending this learning that we're going to go through together. So I'm going to, I think we heard from every group. If we didn't, feel free to jump in if we missed you. But I'm going to.
I'll speak quick for group 2.
Thank you very much, Karen.
So we were a mixed group. It was a couple people from Mass, a couple people from Rhode Island, some Aspen users, some non-Aspen users. It was myself and Karen and Mr. Reyes from Excel Academy, and then Andrew from North Kingstown. So we talked about, you know, some of our uses for Chrome, or, you know, the admin console, and what we'd like to use scripting for, and just our hopes for, you know, making life a little easier day to day.
Yeah, and that's really what my goal is. Like, you know, after 36 years, like, I finally have been able to spend a lot of time learning. And by no means am I an expert in anything, but, you know, I do think there's a lot of opportunity for us to kind of build things together and take advantage of each other and say, oh, I wrote a script for this, or we're using this, or I ended up taking stuff from Aspen and pulling it in over here to be able to create a form letter that I wanted to go to every single parent and include all kinds of information within that, and take advantage of my student information system. Or I'm a teacher and I want to send a personalized letter to all of my students, and how do I do that as well using some of these tools? So there's a lot of integration that I think we could do with student information systems and the power of what we have available to us in Google. So let me jump back into the presentation. So I'm going to share my screen again. And all right, so we're going to talk about the big picture for just a minute. I have 15 minutes on here. It really should only take me a couple of minutes. This is the presentation that I'm going to, or the tool that I'm going to jump into is from Google Notebooks LM. And it, I basically dumped all of my documents that I'm using for this course and said, hey, create a mind map for me. And so this is the learning series that we're jumping into. The first thing, and the whole point of this right here is just to see how the pieces fit together. So you get a contextualized view of where we're heading. So we have 3 different sessions. The first one is about the documents and the collection and preparation. The second session is really about the scripting and automation. And the third session is really about the integration, testing, and enhancement, and using Gemini or Chat GPT to help us kind of enhance and add on to any scripts that we create. So the first session is about using the form, Google Sheets, and a doc template. And then I also use a query function to kind of organize the data, and we'll just jump into that together a little bit. The purpose of the series is really to help you automate, and wherever you see something like automate PD workshop management, you can jump in and say automate anything, right? So collecting information, creating documents, and then sending out notifications to people. And then it's 3 sessions for that. We're going to go over all the support materials. So we actually have a website that links to a Google Drive, a YouTube playlist. There are agenda documents and information for each of the sessions. I have a guiding document that I'll kind of point out to everyone in a minute. We'll be recording all of the sessions. I'll be editing those so that we can tighten them up a little bit. And you'll have access to all of that, and everyone will get a certificate of completion, whether you do your work independently or in the face-to-face work that we're engaged in now. So today, we're really going to jump into the setup and what we need to do regarding that. So we're going to go into the Google form, how it links to the sheet, and how the sheet links to the template, and then how we use Google Apps Script to kind of run everything that we want to during this process. So there is a merge data sheet that we're going to be looking at and really digging into this deeply so that Google go through all of the pieces of this and how the column headers are just placeholders for what we're going to be doing in our Google Doc as well. So we're going to see how all of those pieces fit together to create the personalized content that gets generated in the Google Doc and eventually gets pushed into the different scripts that we have to create a merged document that we turn into a PDF that we then send to everyone via email. So we're kind of going to go through each one of those stages. And you'll be able to, when we get into session 2, you'll be able to see how all of those pieces really fit together in terms of that. So that's kind of just a 360-degree look at what we're trying to accomplish during the work together. So it's just that this idea that it's the big picture of what we're going to be doing together. By the way, in each of the slides, the images are linked to another document or resource. So this is, we're going to take a quick look at our resources and what's available to us, and see where everything is so that you can go back to it and find what you need to. Does anyone have any questions about the big picture look, by the way? Whoops. Sorry, this is my first day using using slide deck. I'm kidding. Any questions? And feel free at any point to just throw a question into the chat, because I am monitoring that as we're going. And if it looks like I'm looking away, I have multiple screens going, so my eyes are on a different screen. So let's take a look at the resources that we have. So this is linked to the my site, and right off of the site, there's the sign up for the Google PD Infrastructure Professional Learning Series. You'll notice that there's this this YouTube video. This is, I don't know if you've used Notebook LM at all, but I took all of the documentation, threw it into LM, and had it create an AI generated podcast. So it's just I think an 18-minute podcast overview. And then there's a link to the YouTube playlist. There are 19 videos in the playlist, and they just go through each of the different parts. So I just added the mind map big picture PD infrastructure video. So it's a 3-minute and 19-second video that goes over exactly what I just went over in the mind map. So you have access to all of the different video clips that I've created to support your work and our work together. There's also a shared Google Drive that you have access to. So this shared Google Drive is available to everyone. And right off of the drive, you'll notice that there's this main document here, the series outline and framework PD. If I go into that document, this is a 29-page document. For those of you who know me, know that I tend to be a little verbose sometimes. But this actually has kind of everything in one space as well in a linear fashion for you. So if I go through, there's a table of contents here. If I scroll down, there's the Google Apps script right here, the slide deck. So you can click on the picture and access the slide deck if you want to. This is the session 1 agenda, and any of the resources that I think you'll need in each of the different areas, they're linked here. So when we start talking about the Google form creation and setup, there are links right here, as well as links to the slide deck. And it just gives you the agenda for each. And then this is a link to the website. This is just a brief picture of the mind map. You'll notice that sometimes there are print directions here. So if I click on this, it's going to open up this document, which we'll go over in a moment. But this is some step-by-step print directions. So not only are there video directions for people, but there are also these step-by-step directions that you can use to kind of do the work that you need to in the session. So this document also houses those same video clips. So, you know, the first thing is you might need to configure your Google Drive. So this is a 4.5-minute video on configuring the drive and copying the files and what you need to do during that process. So this is just another resource that's available to you on the website. There are also Google Apps scripts that I've already started to add in here so that you can actually go in and this is the script that we're going to be using. So I can open this up and actually see an example of the script that we're going to be using. And what's nice about this is you can actually just copy and paste this or make a copy of it and bring it into your own environment. So this folder will be a place where people will also be able to add, you'll be able to add scripts in here yourself. So at some point I'll change the access level to give everyone contributor status in that as well. So you'll also find in this folder that any of the documents that we're using, they'll also be in here. So the form is listed in here, the spreadsheet and the Google Doc template, and then the example of the 2 folders that you'll put in your root directory for the work that you're going to be doing yourself. Oops, this is the one that's shared. And then the last thing is if there are any print directions, they'll also be in here. So that document that I just showed you is right here, as well as some Google Doc information of some work that I've done in Gemini as examples as well. So it's a place that's going to house all of the documents and resources for you to get through or to utilize in the work that you're doing. Anyone have any questions about the resources?
I just have a quick question, Jim. Is there
Sure.
any concern about security with any of this stuff? I mean, you're going to be possibly using your work Google Drive, Google Gmail.
Yep.
Using a personal one. Is there any, I mean, this is all Google. Does it talk to itself?
So when you actually make a copy of all the documents, you own them yourselves, right? They're your personal documents. So Google doesn't have any access to, so Google itself doesn't have access to anything that I'm doing in my drive here. The Google Apps scripts, they're scripts. So again, I think, when we go to copy, you're going to get a message that says, hey, this spreadsheet has a script in it. Do you want to review the script? And if it's someone that then you know that like I created this script in good faith and you don't have to worry about it. If it's someone on the internet, I would review the script line by line to make sure there's nothing nefarious inside the script, because there's no way of hiding what's going on in that script, right? And part of the goal, and I would use Gemini for this too. I would copy that script, go into Gemini and say, hey, is there anything in here that's a security risk for me? And it will go through it line by line and tell you that. And we'll get into that in the last session, where we can actually use Gemini to help us with some of those things.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so let's kind of, so in a minute, we're going to go through the process of just creating a shared drive, or in your my drive, a drive called PD infrastructure, or whatever you want to call it. You can call it, whatever you want to call it, but we're going to create 2 additional folders in there. The PDF participant, the participant PDF documents folder, and the participant Google Doc documents folder. And those 2 folders are where all of the work that we generate in the automated script will end up getting dumped into. And we'll go through the process in session 2 of how to make sure it links to the right folders in your drive and how it links to the right documents in your drive. This picture also links to the video clip that explains how to do this as well. So when you have to do this yourself, if you get stuck on something, you could just go to those resources to kind of help you with that process. So we're going to get our Google Drive ready for that, and I've done that already in my, let's see, in here. So you can see that I have this root directory where everything is going to go into is called Google Doc example. So I didn't call it PD infrastructure. I did do that when I tested it out on my own drive. But this is where the participant documents are going to go. And this is where the PDFs will go. And all of those documents will end up being actually links in the Google Sheet that you'll be able to get to very easily. So you don't have to go hunting for it. You could just find it. And I'll kind of show you that in a little bit as well. So what we're going to do is you're going to create that yourself in a minute. And you can use the print directions if you need to, and that's available right here off of the slide deck as well. And I'm going to take just a minute to kind of talk about each of these and then show you the next sheet or the next slide which you can just make a copy right from here by clicking on each of the images. So I'm going to go back and kind of deconstruct each of these sheets or each of these documents. So this is the first one. This is the Google form. And so the Google form has all my questions. So you'll notice that this is the email address that I requested from everyone. And then I said, hey, give me your first name and your last name. And these become the column headers in my form. And school district or organization was listed. And then I asked these questions in here, right? So I basically said, hey, can you make the session on July 15th? Yes or no? Can you make the session on July 22nd? Yes or no? And then do you want access to the resources if you can't, and any questions or comments that you might have? So this is the Google form that we're using, and that links directly to my sheet. So the way I created this is my responses get generated here, right? And this becomes really onerous when I'm writing a script. See how this header is, I don't know, 100 characters long or something? It's just crazy, right? And I don't want to write a script where I have to worry about that being part of my script, because then it's just, I'm going to make mistakes in my script. So the form pushes into a spreadsheet, and then what I've done is I've created this little query here that renames things. So I'm not really using this all that much in my sheet in the comments or questions, but I've reconfigured the response in column F here to just be session 1D. And I do that in this little query. And basically, I've included that in your sheet already so that you don't have to know how to write the query already. You can actually just use this. We'll also dive into using Gemini to help us write a query if we need to, so that we can say, hey, I want it to be able to do this, this, and this. Can you do that for me? These parts of the sheet are all linked to the actual Google script. So this is something that whenever I get a new participant, I just copied this down. And this information here links back to the Google Doc. So session 1, session 2, session 3, this is the Google Meet information. So when you got your document, it actually listed all of that in the document, in the email document, the PDF. This column N, O, and P is all connected to the Google Apps script. So when I generate your document in the mail merge script, it puts the link to the document here. And that way, when I run it, when we have new participants, it doesn't generate a new document to you, because it would be terrible if it created a new document at each time and then a new PDF and then sent a new email. Like, I don't want it to do those things. I want it to skip over rows that are already completed. So this is the document that is really the backbone of the Google Apps script. And in fact, that Google Apps script is right in here already. So I've already included the script, and I'll show you how to get to the script in a little bit. So this all connects to the next document, which is the actual Google template. So what you'll notice in here is I just created a couple of tables. So this is a 1 row table so I could put a header in there and some imagery in there as well. And then what I did was I took the information from the form and added it to the left-hand column here. And then you'll notice that there are headers in here that are linked to the actual Google Sheet. So first name in the curly braces, I call them curly brackets, curly braces, curly Q's. So I call them a lot of different things. But if I go back to my Google Sheet, I have a header that has first name listed here. And this is exactly spelled and written in the same way as it is in here. So what this is doing is these curly braces or brackets actually it's a placeholder, and that's what they're called. And in the script, you're going to see the word placeholder several times. And this is just letting you know that first name is a placeholder. Last name is a placeholder. School district or organization is a placeholder. Session 1 date is a placeholder. So if I go back to my sheet, here's the placeholder for session 1 date. So whatever response that someone puts in here, that connects back to the Google document here. And so the script runs and creates a Google Doc based on that. And then you'll also notice that I have other things in here already. Like I have I knew I wanted to add session agendas. So I created just a place for me to put a link in here. And that's why you got all of the links to the agendas through the documentation that I had. And then these are just links to the Google Drive. So I did a screenshot of this and a screenshot of the YouTube playlist as well and included that. So I'm sure your minds are already spinning about different things that you can add into a Google Doc template that really is just a form letter. So that's all this is. It's a form letter that I can generate whatever I want to go along with the information that I need to. If I wanted to add the actual slide deck in here, I could just take a screenshot and link the document to the slide deck. And you would be able to go in and grab it as well. So you really can edit this document to suit your needs the way you need it to. All right, so what questions do you have about the 3 documents, if any? Make sense?
Yep. Do we have to keep the name exactly as you have them, or?
You do not. So the beautiful thing about all of this is, and I'll show you that the reason why you don't need the names to be the same is because up here in the URL, and we're really going to dig into this in the next session, but in the URL, there is an ID for every single Google Doc. So whether it's this Google Doc, or whether it's a folder, or whether it's a spreadsheet, there is an actual ID that we use in the script to connect the documents. So this is my Google Doc. If I jump into the script that I have open here, if I scroll through here, I am going to find a place where it's asking me for the source doc ID for the template. So this is the template ID. I would put that ID right in between the single quotes here. And we'll look at that in a much deeper way. But that way, I don't have to worry about what it's called because I'm linking it to the document ID. And the same thing with the folders. I don't need to worry about what the template document is called, because I'm just going to use the document, the folder ID here, and go into my script and find where the folder ID is and put that in my script there. So we'll really dig into that next week, but in session 2, but it really allows you to be as minimalistic or maximalistic as you want to in the name of the document, and it doesn't matter. And you don't have to keep my silly names for things because it won't make sense to you. So you can rename all of those yourselves. So any other questions about these 3 documents? I appreciate all your nods and yes and no's, Jim. All right, so what do we need to do? We need to make copies of all of this, right? So you can actually go to this page in the slide deck or in the actual agenda. Let me just go up here. If I go to the session 1 agenda, you can make the copies from here as well. So wherever you're comfortable doing that, what you're going to do is you're going to click on an item and it's going to ask you to make a copy, and you're going to go in, make the copy, and then once you've made the copy, you're going to rename it to whatever you want to name it, and you're also going to move it to the folder that you want to for your that you've already created a place to save those documents. So you can come in, if you haven't done that yet, you can create a new folder right here and call this, root folder for PD infrastructure. And then you're just going to move everything right into that. And then when you make the next copy, where was I? Here. Let me do it from the spreadsheet just so you can see what it looks like from here as well. So for this one, this is the only one that you're going to have to make some changes. So this is where you're getting a warning from Google saying, hey, this has a script. Do you want to do that? You want to make a copy? And you can go in and view the app script, and it's going to show you the actual script. So I'm going to click make a copy here. And when I do that, it takes a minute to make that copy. And I'm going to go in here, and you'll notice that there are only 2 documents here. I need to link my form that I just created, the copy of it. I need to link it to a sheet. And I don't want to link it to create a new sheet because I want that script that I created to be the one that I link to. So you have to link it to an existing sheet. So you're going to go through the process of finding the sheet, and hopefully it's this one. And it's going to open up a new copy of the sheet, and notice what it did. It created a new sheet name here called Form Responses. Form data was what I originally had when I made a copy of this. I'm going to delete this one. And this is all in the directions as well. And then I'm going to take this, and I need to rename it form data because that's what the query is pulling. So if you look up here, I have a reference error now. It's saying I have an unresolved sheet name called form data. I'm just going to click on this and type in form data. And then when I go back to the query here, and I just click enter on this so it refreshes the page. All of this information came through. So all of this is in the directions, but I just wanted to kind of go through it myself so that you could kind of see what the process looked like. So I'm going to put you back in breakout rooms just because if you need help with something, it's a lot easier to ask 2 people than it is to jump in to ask with 25 people. So you're going to create the different drive folders that you need, a root folder, and then these 2 different folders, the Google Doc, participant Google Doc folder and participant PDFs folder. You're going to make and configure the copied documents for the Google form, the Google spreadsheet, and the Google Doc template, and then edit the documents. Make them look the way you want them to look. And then you're going to get about 25 minutes to do that. And then we'll kind of come back together, whole group, and you will kind of just share out some of the ups and downs that you've had going through this process. So I'm going to push you into your groups. So I'm going to stop presenting. Before I do that, does anyone have any questions about anything that I went over? Sorry I talked for so long, but I wanted to give you kind of the overview of what you're going to do right now. All right, so seeing no questions, let me open up the breakout rooms again. Karen, go ahead.
Jim, I have to step away for a couple minutes, so put me in a low-key breakout room. I will be back, but
Yeah, no worries. And like I've said a million times, if you're in a, if you need to walk away, feel free. If you're in a room, just turn your camera off and mute yourself, and people will know that you're not there.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to be going in and out of the groups as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right, no worries. So let me just do. All right, so let me just share the last slide. So right in the slide deck, there is a link to a feedback session or feedback survey. If you could click on that. The session today is Google Apps Script PD Infrastructure Session 1 Guided. If you could just go ahead and fill out that survey before you end up finishing your day, that would be great. It'll just help me make improvements. I'll take any feedback that you give me and give it the reflection that it deserves. So I really appreciate folks doing that. Before we take off, is there anything that folks want to share out and talking about some of the ideas that they might want to use the scripting tools to help them with automation in their own district?
I'm still trying to get to the feedback screen.
Oh, you know what? Let me put it in the here, Jim. Let me put it in the chat.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. There you go. And Justin, you're muted.
Yeah, my bad. We have different student information systems being used by different participants. Knowing where in the scripts maybe we can connect to those various types of places, whether they're, an SFTP or an FTP site or something like that. Is that something we might touch on during these 3 weeks, or?
I will think about where There might be some options for that. So there might be some APIs that we can run within the script that allows us to do that, or there might be an opportunity to connect to a secure site where your SIS is dumping something off and you want it to get picked up by the script and placed where you need it to go. So I'll definitely think about that and try to come up with some examples of that.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How about anyone else have any thoughts that they want to share out? All right. I really appreciate everyone's time. Hopefully you found this to be useful for you today. And next week, we're really going to jump into the scripting language and what that really looks like. And you can review any of those videos in the list if you want to kind of get a jump start on looking at that. And it really, I try to dig in and talk about some of the important structures within the mail merge function, the PDF creation function, and then the email function as well. So I hope everyone has a great day.
All right. Thank you so much.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting everyone. Bye.
Nice meeting you.